The stars are far brighter than gems without measure. The moon is far whiter than silver in treasure. The fire is more shining on hearth in the gloaming than gold won by mining. So why go a roaming?
A kingly gift, greater than the value of the whole Shire and everything in it.
And thus, welcome to How Do I Remote This, the podcast where we remotely steal something. With me, as always, is Isildur's Bane.
Oscar Brown.
And my name is Sebastian Weisbach of the Men of Numenor. And usually we steal something that's real. That's how we roll.
That's how the podcast works.
Yeah, sometimes you can see the consequences. Like in the past few weeks, you could see that clearly we succeeded in stealing the Resolute desk.
Absolutely.
because they just Trump was sat in front of a tiny little replacement desk.
It was fantastic, wasn't it? You can also see the live effects. In Berlin, they had to relocate the famous Mustafa Döner because the original was stolen. Apparently, it burned down, but it was stolen.
Oh, yeah, sure. No, it's not how we usually operate, but sometimes you just got to go for the scorched earth approach. And in this podcast, for everyone who's new, we steal something from people. One of us will come up with a topic, something to steal, someone to steal from. As always, we've got 3 rules. Number 1, we always get away with it. Number 2, we don't kill people, even though we might butcher some pop culture trivia. And number 3, we only steal from people that deserve to be stolen from.
And in this podcast, it depends whose side you're on.
Yes.
In this particular podcast, like who deserves to be stolen from.
Because we thought, fitting with the re-release of the Lord of the Rings trilogy by Peter Jackson, we do a topical episode, half set in Middle Earth, half set in our middling Earth.
This is just an excuse for 2 Lord of the Rings nerds to also talk about Lord of the Rings in a legitimate way on a semi-legitimate podcast, which is an excuse for us to meet up and talk live anyway.
Yeah, except now we can't meet up or talk live or drink whiskey. So we'll just be rebutted to talking about the Lord of the Rings.
So I have a topic, and I start with a quiz. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. What is round, ring-shaped, can be of many sizes, and from Middle Earth, and worth 40 million euros in our euro currency, not Lord of the Rings euro currency?
I want to say Ajnazg. Ajnazg.
I pronounce that differently.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you pronounce it?
For someone who I was born and reading the books, right?
Yes.
So it's weird sometimes hearing things said out loud that I've always just imagined in my mind. So
it's difficult to pronounce the dark language of Mordor anyway.
Yes.
When it comes to the One Ring.
I had that actually with a lot of the songs. Because I have when I went the songs that happen in the book, right? And it gets a little bit annoying because like there's a lot of songs, and they're great, and they go pages and pages, but I get into one particular sing-song voice or melody in my mind, which means every single song in Lord of the Rings is the same song, just different lyrics.
Are they? I'm not a musical person. Are they good songs, or is it more like the So I was wondering because Tolkien's one work of literature.
Yes.
I mean, not of having written literature, but of literature theory, which still is an important work of literature theory, is his discussion of Beowulf.
Yes.
Because among his peers of his time, Beowulf was more or less discussed as historical fact.
Yes.
And he was one of the first to interpret it as a work of fiction. And Beowulf famously is also a song, like that they were all like.
It's all written in prose,
right? No, Beowulf is not written in prose. It's written in poetry, albeit it's not. So what we consider to be traditional poetry is closer to Roman poetry, with the rhymes stuck to the end. And Norse poetry would be closer to having alliterations, or even the same consonants somewhere in the middle of a line.
That sounds a lot like all Norse languages I've ever heard. A lot of alliterations, the shit sounds the same, and a lot of consonants.
Yeah, like, I mean, famously, the first line of Beowulf is "Chwedwe Gardena in Heardagum."
Of course.
Um,
Of course it is.
anyway,
But once again, I've only ever seen that written. I've never said it out loud. That's
yeah,
why I
yeah.
recognize it.
Um,
Okay, so you reckon it's the One Ring? You
I
reckon
reckon
the One
it's
Ring is worth a paltry 40 million euros?
if it's the hero prop. I
Interesting.
would consider that because I've also done some research on. Actually, I have it open on a couple of browser tabs. I've done some research on a few items
Right.
that were auctioned off in the past few years. Such like the helmet of the Witch King of Angmar, which was
Which is a
auctioned.
nice helmet, I must admit.
Yeah, but that would put you down for like $50,000.
50,000. Okay.
Yeah, but it's oversized. I would
Yeah.
imagine at least because he's larger than life. The films.
Like the pictures of the ring when they
Yes,
do the filming, and it's like a 1 meter radius ring.
it looks like a belt
That's amazing.
more than a ring. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Um. So
First time I've seen that also this
yes,
year.
and
First time I
straight,
realized. Yeah,
like 300 million years after the movies were released.
yeah.
I was there, by the way.
I was there at the dawn of the third age of man.
I was the dawn of the third night that started after the second part of the first movie. So no, this one's more figuratively. So I could have said it's worth 40 million euros,
Yes.
or I could tell you it's worth 1/5 of the mithril coat, the mithril coat armor that's given to Frodo.
It can change. So it's part of the armor.
No, it's not part of the armor. I just worked it out.
Okay.
I took the time to work out how to translate euros into Middle Earth currency.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's round and can change sizes. So it's not
No,
something
no,
that
it can be of any size. It's more of a figurative thing, really. So it's not. I'll probably give you a hint because
so it's
it's
not a
not a
film reel either.
It is in the film, and it's mentioned or they are they are mentioned in the books, and they are very prominent in the films, both of them, and pretty early on always. Yeah.
I honestly I couldn't tell you both of them in the films. So it's not Isildur and Elendil.
No.
Prominent in the film. I really don't know.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
Yes.
It's the doors. It's the doors into the Hobbit holes.
Oh,
Into the
interesting.
burrows, into the houses of the hobbits.
Interesting.
And I'll tell you why it's worth 40 million euros.
Yes.
So when they first made the movie, they arrived in New Zealand and they were like, right, that's it. We need to build like some hobbit holes here somewhere. And they went on location scouting and they found this cattle farmer who had like a couple of hills next to a river. It was close enough to a town, close enough to a main road. And they were like, okay, you know what? Can we film here? And he was like, no problem. Go for it. Like, go for it. When he started figuring out that this might be a bit of a big deal, he was like, right, I'd like to renegotiate the contract. In fact, I'd like some money for it. When he started realizing,
killed him.
When he realized that actually this Lord of the Rings thing might actually be a hell of a big deal, when they were like, yeah, we're going to come back and shoot, 2 more movies, and this is going to be really famous. He was like, right, that's not a problem. You have to leave all of this here.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I want to make this into a tourist attraction.
Yeah.
Now, these negotiations didn't go so well, and the film set was like, no. So they packed it all up again and they left. But now this wily bastard was like, no problem. I'm still going to create a amusement park. It's actually called Hobbiton. It's a town It's a town called Matamata in New Zealand. It's about, I don't know, 2-3 hours
from Auckland. Bagginses.
I've been there. And I was there when this guy really was a filthy Bagginses, because like it was all gone. Like there was no props. So you arrived at this guy's farm and he was like, right, everyone onto the back of the tractor. and then like you'd pay. I'll ask you later how much money you'd pay for this, right? Everyone in the back of the tractor, and then off you go in the back of the tractor, and he'd drive you onto his farm, to where these like 4 little hills are, and there's just empty. It's just an empty hole because the
So it's
doors are
taking Hobbit hole a bit too literally.
It's literally just a hobbit hole.
Huh.
And I felt ripped off. So this guy, he really pissed me off. Okay, he pissed me off. But now with it becoming a really big deal, eventually they made a sort of a deal. This became a huge tourist attraction, and Hobbiton is now fully built. For the refilming of The Hobbit, they built the entire Hobbit in the Shire. They rebuilt the Shire all around this farm.
So of all films, they rebuilt it for the Hobbit trilogy.
Yes.
Ugh, what a waste of time and money.
And they built it on this guy's farm. And this place has 50,000 visitors per year.
Wow.
Okay, now how much would you pay for a full tour, like a tour of, let's say, Hobbiton, of the Shire, like it's a full Shire? The nice thing is there's a couple of cool features. You get to, there's now a restaurant there that serves breakfast, but not only that, it also
serves breakfast.
So I was like, okay, that's fine. They can have that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So how much would you pay for like a live on location New Zealand thing? Considering that you've already paid about 3,000 euros to travel halfway across the world.
I'll just put that into the heist budget. I have a question. So how big is it? Am I in this scenario a regular sized man, or am I hobbit sized?
It's the question that we have to ask ourselves: when and where are we seeing this?
Good question. So
just for the entry ticket, how much are you paying for to go and visit the Shire? Which I guess, if you think about it, the Shire is a famous place in the real world that we live in, because we're like, the Lord of the Rings was filmed there. But the Shire is also a famous place because like that's where the hobbits were from. So like tourism in actual Middle Earth is booming in the Shire because like there's orc families, there's like, like dwarves from the north. They're traveling to the Shire to come and see this place because everyone wants to have a pet hobbit.
Do you think that's how the hobbits also rebuilt the Shire after Saruman scoured it?
100%.
Filthy hobbitses, yes.
Filthy hobbitses, like money grubbing for sure, 100%.
What's the name of the? Are they like the Sackville Bagginses?
Yes.
They're the bad ones, right? They're like the black sheep of the family.
Yes, the Sackville Bagginses are, yeah. And the proud feet.
Yeah. Foot. It's all just slowly coming back to me. I apologize. It's been a while since I read The Lord of the Rings. And I think like the last thing I read was the Silmarillion.
Yes. Less hobbits.
Yes. Yeah.
Not enough tourism to the Shire. I mean, definitely. I mean, if you just think about it, you definitely want to visit the Shire before Lord of the Rings happens.
Yes.
Before like the One Ring arrives, like before Frodo goes on his big journey. You want to be there in the glory years when Bilbo was a young boy.
Peak Shire, when everyone was still unsuspecting, and
not like tourism Shire, because it's definitely like I bet you it's like going to Venice.
Probably, yeah.
Crowds of German orcs.
Or the Chinese Wall, or the pyramids in Egypt, where it's just like flocks of tourists standing around blocking your view. Okay, so let's time-wise consider it then to be. So I think if we are going,
I have to come back to my question.
Yes. What would I pay?
What would you pay for a tour like that? It's a morning tour, by the way.
Okay. So it's a one-day tour.
That's long enough. No, like you're out of there before lunch. Okay. Like after second breakfast, you're out.
30 euros.
Crank that up to 70.
What? But people, I've just lost touch with pricing. 70 euros for a tour through the Shire.
That's like they've made a turnover there of 40 million euros in the last 8 years.
That's a lot. 40 million.
If you're interested,
yes.
Wait, because I've taken the time to work this out, right? How I got there might be interesting. So there's one really obscure moment in The Hobbit when they're in the town of Bree, and the well-to-do owner of the Prancing Pony quote,
in The Hobbit.
in The Hobbit, yeah. At the end of the third... Oh, no, it's not. It's in Lord of the Rings, sorry.
Yeah.
At the end of the Third Age, a pony was considered to be worth about 4 silver pennies. The well-to-do owner of the prancing pony, Barleyman Butterbur, considered a loss of 30 silver pennies to be a considerable blow. Yeah.
Okay. So that's...
So basically, these silver 30 pennies, if you then use the Lord of the Rings online fan club calculations, yeah, you can work out that 1 silver penny is worth 16 CP, which if you then work it out, basically for each silver penny is worth 166 euros. Because then I also went online to see how much does a pony cost in euros. That's how I got it in. How much would you pay for a pony in euros?
Honestly, I wouldn't accept a pony if it were given to me.
Yes,
I mean, I know gift horses, but they eat a lot.
Not, you can't like calculate the fuel into this, like the pure purchase price of a pony.
I wouldn't want to own a pony. So apparently it's something like 1,000 euros.
Get anything? 5,000 euros for a pony.
Even for like a random stray.
No, for one, like I went for one that's like would still be useful in the town of Bree in Middle Earth. You know what I mean?
I see.
Not like an old cracker pot pony. So anyway, that's why I just wanted to explain to you why this place deserves to be voted from.
Absolutely, like it 100% does. This is just this is just nerdy Disneyland.
It is crazy.
But yeah, no. Apparently, people are willing to pay that, and it does not surprise me. It also even I must shamefully admit, back when the Lord of the Rings was still hot, so pre-Hobbit, I actually bought a tourist guide to New Zealand, going from location to location.
But
I never did. But
you've never even left Germany, so I'm a little bit confused as how you got there.
I never even left this flat.
You just had the guide.
Yeah, that's all I had when I still had big plans in life.
Did you intend to travel there?
Yeah, for a while. Then I lost all my savings in a pyramid scheme. I was the bottom of the pyramid.
Yeah, never be the bottom of a pylon. Yes, that's unfortunate. But New Zealand's wonderful. You should go sometime. It's just a lot more expensive than you think. Like you think, like you leave Europe, you've got money, you've got the mighty euro behind you, and then you arrive in New Zealand, and they will charge you $5 New Zealand for a coffee.
That sounds like a lot.
I don't know, like €4. It all seems like a lot. Like if you're used to traveling to poorer countries where good value for money. No, them New Zealanders, they do well. They do well.
Poorer countries like the US.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting. So something I had prepared, because I'm a vengeful person.
Yes, I understand that.
So
as am I. I mean, I brought out this topic from having to go on the back of this guy's tractor.
True. How many years ago was that now? 15.
10. No. No, much more. This was in school time. So 2002? That's ages ago. That's 18 years.
I love a good grudge.
Oh my God. I've been carrying around a grudge for 18 years against some random New Zealand farmer I don't even know.
I had a grudge against a politician in Germany once. Personal grudge.
That's a politician.
Mind you. Huh?
This is the politician. It's a public figure. I didn't even know the guy's name.
It's an off podcast, sorry. And then I read in the newspaper like 2 years ago that he died, and I laughed out loud.
Vengeance is sweet.
Beautiful, beautiful. I still don't feel bad to this day, so I absolutely understand you want to at least get your emissions worth back. Are the Hobbit houses fully decorated?
Yes, now they're fully. The whole thing it's like a living village.
Do they? And I'm just considering if this might be in. Do they have theme park actors?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, well then that might be something to look up, because I think that
New Zealand's very expensive.
Yeah, I think that might be a good way in to
that's
maybe
a fair point.
Start visiting Hobbiton. Leave a mark on one of the doors.
Ah.
Bring 12 friends.
I like where you're going with this. Do you know if Eric Bana is going to be in the new series?
Is he? What? I haven't heard. Would he
Well, he
be?
is now.
Really?
No, I mean you look a little bit like Eric Bana. Remember?
Yeah, but I wasn't in the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I know you weren't in the Lord of the Rings, but we can tell them like we can pull the
Oh, I see.
we
Oh,
can pull
yeah.
the Ocean's 11 Sandra Bullock thing.
Yes,
Except
I haven't seen that one.
it's where I think it's Sandra Bullock. Is she in those?
No, I think you might be talking about Julia Roberts. Sandra
Oh yes,
Bullock
yeah, yeah.
is in her
You're
own
right.
Ocean's film.
Okay, right. I mean Julia Roberts. It's where Julia Roberts pretends to be Julia Roberts because she
Yeah.
looks like Julia Roberts.
Honestly, the highlight of Julia Roberts' career.
Probably. She was pretty bad at it as well.
Everyone's pretty bad at it. I also don't like her in anything. I think she's a pretty overrated actress.
So you're going in as Eric Bana. Like it'll be like this
Okay,
huge announcement. Oh, it's a
fair enough.
possibility.
He's twice
I'm
my
going.
size, though.
Is he though?
He's massive, yes. He's tall and broad, but they don't need to know. Also, if everyone else is hobbit-sized, I think I'll pass for a very tall man.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted you like 37 minutes ago.
That's fine. You've been holding on to your grudge for 18 years. So so I think so I came up with two things. I thought if we are going to Middle Earth, so if we go full nerdy on this, something I
Yes.
would like to steal is Middle Earth is equivalent to a smartphone.
Oh, yes.
So you know
A
what I'm
seeing
talking about.
orb. A
Yes.
seeing orb.
Yes, the Palantir.
Yes.
The
Oh,
seeing
interesting.
stones. So for everyone who's not as deep into the Lord of the Rings or not anymore, they are like these black glass orbs that you stare into all day, and all they do is deceive you just by showing you select content.
That's so true.
And if that doesn't sound familiar or prophetic, then I don't know what is. So there's a few. There's I think 3 named in the books.
Yes.
There used to be more. I think most of them are lost now. One is believed to be lost. So Saruman has one. Denethor of Minas Tirith has one.
Yes.
And the other one is with Sauron.
Yes. Well, isn't the suspicion that he has more than one?
That also might be the case. So when I kind of read up on it, it was like, so Sauron's seeing stone is also larger than man and can't be lifted.
Right. So we're not doing that one then.
No, so that's essentially like a server.
Yeah.
So I thought the one that makes most sense, and also I don't want to steal from Saruman. It seems a bit dangerous. Not that he doesn't deserve to be stolen from, but I thought the one that is reasonable to steal is the one in the possession of the steward of Gondor, the one in Minas
Agreed.
Tirith.
Oh, agreed. Yes. Yes, absolutely. I mean, how would one go about? What's our starting point?
I think in order to
We live
not,
in Minas Tirith. I feel like we would live. I mean, we live in Berlin. We live in the biggest city.
but that would be Osgiliath, no? Or has Osgiliath? So the question is, when do we
When
go about
yes,
this?
okay.
So I think the reasonable time is actually after Denethor's death. So it's either after Denethor's committed suicide, because then we don't intervene in the timeline,
Yes.
or it's way before that.
What actually? Okay, according to the law, what happens to the Seeing Stone after he dies?
Um, so the one thing I know is that Aragorn looks through it,
Yes.
leading Sauron to believe that Aragorn now has the One Ring and intends to use it as a weapon.
Yes, correct.
But I'm not sure what happens to it after that. I'd have to look
Well,
that up.
I'm just saying that feels like an important moment.
Yeah.
I feel like we should, if we're going to, interfere with the timeline, we should let that happen.
Yes.
Because, but what happens after that? If it's unclear, well, then it's because it's already been stolen.
Yeah. And if Sauron then wants to use it to spy on us, or if we want to promote Bob's ball powder to Middle Earth.
That would be amazing. That would be the best place. I mean, if it's going to end up just being Sauron who keeps looking through it forever and ever, then we just need to, clamp it between someone's sweaty legs, and then he just gets to look at someone's balls forever and ever and ever.
That's yeah, it's definitely like the internet version of the Sisyphus punishment, eternally being forced to stare at someone's sweaty balls.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of, the one of the biggest competitors to Bob's Ball Powder has really ramped up their campaign for Christmas.
It's really annoying. It's like they're trying to stop people powdering their balls.
Yeah.
Like why? As if there's something wrong with that. Like they're on every podcast. Like just because Bob's Ball Powder is like a small family-run business,
Yeah.
and
it's a premium quality product.
Yeah, and why do people run away now and start following startups? I hate startups like that.
I don't know. It's beyond me. Yeah. But anyway, so that was my. I mean, maybe take the Palantir.
Okay.
And
who would be a buyer of that? Who would be a buyer of it?
Who's left? Who's left of the wealthy and powerful? So all the Nazgul are gone and disbanded.
Yes.
Aragorn. I don't think.
Well, some of the elves, for their journey to stay in touch with Middle Earth might be a good shout. And I mean, they're not. I mean, what are they doing with all this stuff anyway? I mean, when you see them leave, they've got a couple of rolling suitcases. That's it. What's happening with all the other stuff? Yeah. So I think we need to do a bit of a tradie wadey there.
Okay. So who do we go with then? Celeborn. Galadriel's cuck.
Well, I mean, do we want forest elf shit, or do we want I don't know, middle of Middle Earth elf shit?
Central Middle Earth.
Yeah, central elf. So I've got a different question for you. If the various peoples and races and creatures around Middle Earth, if you had to assign them all with a country or like a people in real life,
no, yeah,
who would you equate with who?
So we go with the elves.
Yes.
Should we start with the elves? Probably
because
the Norse culture.
Like the forest elves, like they like they're very different to them central elves.
True. But I think it's always been kind of, but most of them I always imagine to be blonde, kind of like Legolas is described, mostly.
Really? Okay.
So I always would have considered them to be like Swedish.
Yes, that's true. I can work with that.
In tune with their language, because Quenya and
what's so the maybe the difference you'll have like Swedish people and Norwegians, and then the Danish or whatever.
The Danes, yeah. Like
fair enough.
The Danes are the forest elves.
That works for me. Okay, so here's a maybe a left field shout. The dwarves, from the Misty Mountain, they're Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah, they're Basque Spaniards. Very loud in groups.
Rich silver culture.
Yes, thank you for bringing in something positive. And all about the food. Love their food.
Yeah, true. Okay. So clearly the English are the hobbits.
Yes, I believe that
at home, cozy, smoking the pipe. Leaving us with the men of Numenor, or the descendants of Numenor, the Rohirrim.
Horse people.
So I think, even though the Rohirrim are uncharacteristically brave, they would kind of be the French.
Okay.
So kind of like good on horseback, like the Merovingians.
Yes.
Who also wore their hair long in battle.
Okay. Yeah. I can work with that.
And I believe like the art direction of the Lord of the Rings trilogy took actually cues from the Celts.
Okay, I work with that. But you know what? That would make all of Gondor. I think that would make them Americans.
Oh God, yeah,
There's
absolute douche.
there's some good. There's some good there, definitely. In fact, there's a lot of good. But with the steward of America keeping the seat warm for a proper president to come along, there's similarities there. There's something American about that.
Yeah, and it's they used to be a high culture, but now they've fallen into disarray.
Exactly. Yeah, and it
Yeah,
can get back. I hope.
yeah, that
I wish an Aragon upon the states.
that makes sense. The orcs, clearly Belgians.
Yes, Belgians, but maybe like a mixture of Belgians, Germans,
Russians.
Russians. Yes, the worst of all these cultures. Like all the not like I'm not saying the Russians are the worst of all the cultures that were just
No,
mentioned.
but like
The orcs are an amalgamation of all
it's
the
all
worst.
been exercised into.
The orcs are all of these nations meeting at a all-inclusive holiday in Egypt. That's how the orcs were made.
So do you think what we could do is bring a tourist group of Germans, Belgians, Russians,
Dutch,
and Dutch, and a few English to
yes,
New Zealand
on a
to
cruise
Hobbiton? Yes, on a cruise ship.
full of these people. 100%. We can find the biggest ship that they have because they're all empty in the moment because then ain't nobody going anywhere. But you can put them all on there. They'll be corona free by the time they get to New Zealand.
So the funny thing is that that's also perfectly in line with the Palantir because that's what drove Denethor to his death. He saw the fleet that Aragorn had captured.
Yes.
Believing it to be manned by Sauron's troops.
Oh, that's true. That's amazing. It's an entire fleet. Well, we can condense it to just the biggest, the MSC Europe or whatever it is. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, and they all arrive in Hobbiton with their armbands.
You don't happen to have the name of the manager of Hobbiton, do you? If not, we'll just call him Sack of Shitville Baggins.
I think so. I think we have to call him Mr. Sackville Baggins. I think there's
okay.
Yeah. I also, even if I did know, I don't think it's appropriate. People in the podcast might go hating upon him, like me.
So so we have to drop by first as recon.
Yes.
Leave a mark on one of the doors.
And the one that remains. What are we going to actually take there? We're going to take which are we just destroying the place? Are we destroying the Shire? Like, are we
scouring, please?
Are we
scouring the Shire?
Like going like a scorched earth policy and like just leaving nothing behind? And even so, even if we went through there and we just burnt it all to the ground, he'd still charge maybe less, maybe not 89 New Zealand dollars. He'd charge like 79 New Zealand dollars to see the place where the great battle took place.
Well, I mean, he can. That's his right. We don't want to destroy his livelihood. We just want to steal from him.
That's true.
And I mean, again, I completely understand your impulse to want to destroy his livelihood.
But I need to. If he gives me my entrance fee back of about 50 New Zealand dollars, we're equal.
Yeah, steal a fishing rod from a man and just steal once, but steal a fish and leave him with a fishing rod, and you can steal from him every day for the rest of his life.
That's my favorite part of the Bible. Is our army?
Yes.
Is everyone just going to go to the Shire and grab one souvenir?
We can definitely sort of set that up thematically.
Because we could take the whole Shire apart and reassemble it somewhere else.
I'll have to do something right now. You'll have to sit and wait.
Yes.
It's going to be a bit gross, and it's a YouTube exclusive, but I'll be back in a second. So what we have to do is we have to make sure they're wearing enough sunscreen, and they would have to wear it like this.
Uruk-Hai.
Oh God, I'm fully committed to this joke.
I really appreciate that. You're gonna have to take a picture. That has taken it to the next level. Yes, that's what they will look like. There will be these burnt to a crisp Uruk-Hai, the worst of. I mean, they'll have been on this ship for at least a month from Europe.
Probably.
At least a month.
Cruises tend to take unnaturally long because they constantly have to harbor in remote locations to maintain like their tax exempt status.
No, but in this case, they won't. They're going a one-way trip because that's how we can guarantee that they're all corona-free.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Because they'll be self-isolating for ages, and they won't have gone to shore for at least a month. It probably takes longer. I think more like 2 months. Let's say 2 months. They're going to be livid.
Luckily, they'll be super fed up on elvish whey bread, so full of energy. By elvish whey bread, I mean monster energy.
Yeah. Oh man, that's orc juice right there. Wow. That's frightening. Did you say you had another one?
No, I think we should perfectly work with that. I think what we can really weave in here is. So, would you say that at the moment the most prestigious iPhone is the iPhone 12?
I think that is what is being said generally. Yeah,
right?
probably.
I mean, I'm not saying the best. I'm not a smartphone person. I am an iPhone person, but personally, I don't care about tech specs. But if during our scouting we were to leave a boxed iPhone 12 that could easily be unlocked in the vicinity of the sack of shitville Baggins.
Yes.
And he were to open that, but we could show him the content we wanted him to see.
Yes.
That would essentially be his own personal Palantir.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I love the way you're still wiping down your face, trying to get rid of it.
I have it on my lips. I have it in me. It's disgusting.
Yes. Many jokes I could have made there. I did not.
Yes.
So yes, oh, absolutely. I mean, but I really like what you've done there with the Palantir and the smartphones. It's very apropos and really makes me think. And the only time, because I mean, it's such a dramatic moment as well when the Palantir of Sauron, when that one smashes.
Yeah.
Cracks, it cracks definitely. But then I mean, then it turns into this. I'm showing you my cracked old smartphone that I happen to have lying here. But it's the same. It's the same dramatic moment when that happens to someone who's been in their tunnel for months, just getting the filtered content, and then their phone breaks, and it's this dramatic thing that changes their life, and it's amazing. It's incredible.
Yeah, and it's so tempting to stare into it, to listen to the truths it has to tell you.
Oh my goodness.
There's also, I think we discussed this on the podcast. Actually, there is a security corporation called Palantir, and they do like spying on people digitally.
Oh yes, I think so. I think we have mentioned them before.
They are also like frequently involved in scandal. Which, how, if you think you're the good guys, do you get the idea to name your company Palantir?
Well, because it sounds cool.
I see. So they've never read the Lord of the Rings.
Well, probably one of them was a Lord of the Rings fan and was like, "Okay, I've got the perfect name for you." And then he suggested something, and then everyone was like, "Oh, that, but yeah, I mean, yes, thematically."
Light of Earendil, really?
But it just sounds shit. Like it sounds shit. Yeah. Why can't we? Why can't we take this one? Why can't we be Mordor? And then he's like, "Okay, guys, we literally can't be Mordor. Like that's why not? Well, it's because it's like they're the bad guys." And it's like, oh, well.
Okay. How about Morgoth?
And so on it went until he finally was like, "Fine, you can have."
Let's compromise on Palantir. Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think so. €3,000 roughly for a ticket to New Zealand.
Yes, that's correct.
So for the both of us, that would come in at 12,000 back and forth.
I mean, that being said, just remember that in the moment, there's really is no way to get into New Zealand.
Yeah,
you might have to go on the ship.
Oh, well, I mean, you can captain a ship, right? Look at me. I'm in charge now.
You're the captain now. Yes.
We can commandeer a cruise ship because I think the crew on a cruise ship does not give a fuck.
No,
like they would give up like that.
I think they really exploit the crew anyway, and I feel like on
we're
these
doing
cruise ships, since Corona started, I think the crew are all still on there. They have no idea. They have no idea what's going on in the world. They just know there's just no more guests. So, but they're still like stuck in there. They still set up the meals every night, and the coal guys, they put the coal into the coal fires, and the performing artists that they have there, they perform bad versions of Grease every night. It still happens.
Yeah, and just like in the Lord of the Rings, like they all have their real names in Elvish, their native tongue, and then they're given their stage names so that everyone can remember the waiter is David,
Yes,
and not
they're right.
Imrahil of Dol Amroth.
They're all called David. Actually, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's easier to remember for the Brits, the Germans, the Russians, the Belgians.
So we're actually doing a good thing here. So you're saying is like the crew will be very compliant,
100%.
And and then how's this for an idea?
Yes,
we advertise in these countries for our orc army. We'll be like, it's the Corona Freedom Party boat.
Yeah,
and like
that's good.
If you don't want to have a vaccine,
yeah, this will be a vaccine-free zone.
It's a vaccine-free zone. Like, it's for everyone who thinks differently. And if you don't want to be hip, you can be square, and you can join the Corona Party boat.
All you need is the white hand of the sunscreen.
Yes, that's great. And I mean, I volunteer to personally slap on the white sunscreen onto the faces of these people one by one.
I'm absolutely loving the idea. You just sort of smacking them left, right, and center every day. I think from the helm of the ship, we can talk down to the masses.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I welcome you here on board this cruise, and on this corona-free ship, we will meet the harbors of New Zealand.
And then off we go. I like that. That would be very good. So yeah, I really think the boat, like, it's going to be free. We don't even have to calculate anything into that. It's going to be free. It is going to be about 2 months of our lives, but we're definitely flying back. So 3,000 euros for a flight back.
So it's just 6,000, and I'm just gonna I'll just look at the largest cruise ships and see how many people we can fit on for our little army. Capacity double maximum. So we're talking like roughly 6,800 people.
Great.
6,680 for the Symphony of the Seas.
For the Symphony of the Seas, that's great. We should rename it.
Absolutely. What's a good Lord of the Rings pun? Symphony of the Seas. Oh well. So it's like the White Gull of Numenor.
I like that. That could be pretty good. Or the horse.
The horse.
Yes.
Gandalf's horse. Shadowfax.
There we go. Shadowfax.
Shadowfax. Show us the meaning of haste.
Make haste. There we go. Yes, I like that. And then I insist that the railing we make that higher, that it's just above eye height across the whole boat, so that we can go around every night saying, "Can you see well, or should I fetch you a box?"
Very nice.
Every day, all day. And then should we feed them like orcs as well? Maybe in the second month, we'll just toss meat down into the.
Oh yeah, and you know, people on this disease-ridden ship will eventually die, and we can address our passengers and say, "Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys."
But I mean, they will. I mean, have you seen the way these people behave with like a buffet, a breakfast buffet? They terrorize it like it is. They go
like
full sport on it. It's crazy. So we finally arrive in New Zealand.
Yes.
We have an army of how many people?
6,680.
6,680.
And we'll easily fill that. We'll be at capacity.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to turn people away. I just want to see if the town of Matamata, how far away that is from the ocean, if we can walk the people there. Oh yeah, we can dock in Tauranga.
I mean, I think we might have to arrive a bit early.
I'm okay with that. Yes, it's a 13-hour trek for the harbor in Tauranga to Matamata.
Okay, 13-hour
So
trip, foot walk
if we arrive at sunset, we can be there at the break of dawn.
on the third day. Look to the east.
Fantastic! I'm all about it.
Okay, so it's a 13-hour foot walk, but these people, they're clearly not in shape to do this in 13 hours. So it'll actually take them 3 days.
I totally agree. Which actually gives us enough time to prepare.
Yeah, to
So
arrive
that's
on horseback.
absolutely
And
on a pony. I mean, if a pony is 5,000 euros, you're going to have to calculate at least 10,000 for a horse.
okay, fine. So we'll take one horse each, I presume.
Oh, I'm
So
not sure.
we're not going to ride like Eowyn and Pippin.
Not a chance.
No, it's Eowyn and Merry, right?
Yes.
Okay. So 20,000, 26,000.
Come on, rent a horse. Maybe renting a horse is cheaper.
Maybe.
That's fine. We can buy a horse. We can sell it afterwards again.
Don't be gentle. It's a rental. So,
does the resale price of a horse also like dive off a cliff as soon as you ride it off the parking horse?
As soon as you ride it off the cliff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I would actually imagine some of them gain in value, like if they are successful race or heist horses.
That's true. Oh, a successful
because people want to breed them.
Yeah, that's true.
So it'll take us some time. We can arrive there and just via live stream make sure that the Sackville Baggins only sees what we want him to see.
Mm-hmm. With the phone that we already placed. I have family in New Zealand. They can organize that.
Yeah. So that's the Orc army.
Yes.
Which obviously means he needs to get his valuables out of there. If only there were 2 noble men on horseback to help him with that.
I see where you're going with this. I like it.
I mean, he will also still make money off this because everyone will have to pay admittance.
Can we do it so that we? Yes, absolutely. That's
so that we collect the entrance fee.
Yes, we'll definitely collect an entrance fee.
Because that would be times 70, 467,600 euros.
Fantastic.
Which I would like for ourselves.
Yes, that's the fee.
Certainly fair, yeah.
Can we time it so that we arrive just before breakfast?
Yes.
Then we can get the whole thing over and done with, so that we can have the second breakfast, and then we're out of there.
Good. I like that.
Yeah.
Have second breakfast, be out of there, because also there'll be nothing left to eat after our little orc horde arrives.
No. It'll be done. It'll be like the bottom levels of the platform.
So what do we take though? What's valuable enough for us to carry out of there?
One does not simply walk into Hobbiton and take anything. What you take everything.
I see. I mean, we have a cruise ship to transport it all back.
We can transport it all back, the whole thing.
We could. So we could rebuild.
Yes.
Hobbiton on the boat.
Yes.
Take Hobbiton on a journey to the west.
Yes. And throw it into the pit of doom.
Oh no, I was just gonna go fully west to the lands beyond the shining sea.
Oh, and then we never hear from the Corona people and Hobbiton ever again?
Absolutely. We'll just leave them to their own devices. Form a new Hobbit society.
On Christmas Island.
Yeah, maybe. What's an abandoned island somewhere on the way?
There's plenty. In the Pacific, there's plenty of there's the entire French nuclear disaster zone, French Polynesia.
Okay, so we'll drop them off at French Polynesia.
Drop themselves off in French Polynesia.
All right, we'll take the plane back. Yeah, I forgot.
We're flying home. We're flying home with how much money?
So it's almost 500,000, 467,000 and 600.
That's amazing.
Just in entrance fees. I would imagine these people are also paying for the cruise. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I'm happy to leave that to the crew.
Oh yeah, fair enough. I mean, a share of that.
Yeah, that's true. So 460,000 If I work,
67,000.
I'm just going to round it down.
Okay.
Which is 2,700 silver pennies, which means we would be able to buy half an ounce of mithril.
That does not sound like much.
No, it's not.
It's roughly a foreskin worth of mithril.
Yes, but I mean the foreskin would be protected like no one else's foreskin.
That thrust would have killed a boar.
Oh dear. Okay. The poor Sackville Bagginses, they'll be fine.
I mean, they've had it coming.
That's true. Plus 80, please remember, 89 New Zealand dollars that I want back in cash.
Yeah.
So you might walk away with however much, half and half, but I get 89 New Zealand dollars more.
That sounds only fair. I mean, and he still has the premises, so he can do whatever he wants with a scoured shire.
Yeah, I mean, it'll just be back into the original state it was in. It'll just be these empty holes with no door frames, no doors, no cobblestones, no flowers, no smiling little hobbit children running around, no bridge.
I must admit, so maybe he also goes the Peter Jackson route of restoring it, and just replaces the entire village with a huge green screen.
That could work as well. But they'll come back and rebuild it because they're doing the series. They won't even notice.
Are they rebuilding it for that? Because what I've heard,
they will have to because
because it's here's gone. The thing. What I've heard is the series is set in the Second Age.
Oh yes.
So pre-Hobbits, and it's probably going to be about Barahir, and the forging of the rings.
Yeah, but there will be hobbits running around. They will. They'll have to cinematically tie it to the series somehow. They won't be able to resist doing it.
Probably. I'm not sure though. They actually want to, because I think even though the Lord of the Rings is a beloved franchise, The Hobbit is, I think, equally hated.
Yeah, that's true. I need to do another Lord of the Rings marathon. Oh my goodness! I heard something the other day. I hope it's not true, but it looks like they're refilming the Matrix movies.
No, they are not. They've done sequels.
They've done sequels. Okay.
Yeah, we can. I can tell you once we're off air.
Okay, good. Okay.
I've actually stolen quite a bit from that film set, so
okay.
I do not want this on the record.
Okay, we need to talk about that another time. We don't talk about real life crimes. The mithril coat itself, by the way, would be worth 192 million euros in real life money.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is insane. But then again, they woke the Balrog when they dug too deep.
Yes.
I mean, and it is a precious metal. What else can you do with it though? Because I feel like
one of the rings, one of the rings is made in mithril.
One of the dwarven ones, I presume.
No, one of the elven ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I think maybe it might be one of the Galadriel's ones. I'm not sure.
Because I think, like in real world terms, the Palantir would probably be more valuable than mithril armor these days.
I agree with you. So after we've managed to somehow get that one away, right, before so after Aragorn looks into it, and before something else happens, right? So we somehow spirit that away. Are we coming in from the outside world into there, or
we portal in,
or how are we portaling out? Because I mean, if we're just like two regular criminals living in Minas Tirith, right? Like we're probably too old to, like, you're probably ex-army, right? Like you've been there, like you somehow survived a lot of things, but you're getting a little bit old now, and you got passed up to being a general. So now you're like just like, oh, okay, fine, you're not working there anymore. That's why you're disgruntled. I'm probably, I don't know, like the fourth son of a trader, but useless anyway. We probably met in a bar. And now we cooked up this idea that, you know what we're going to do? We're going to steal something that we haven't even heard about.
Yeah.
We're going to steal the king's marbles. Like that's our plan, basically.
So I would also presume we're not living on the top level of Minas Tirith.
No.
So we'd have to walk our way up.
We'd have to work our way up. It would take a lot of talking. I mean, it's a great time. It's a great time to do it because like shit is going down.
Yeah.
Like, it's a great time to move around freely
at
in the
that
city.
point, the city is emptied.
Yes.
Because all the army's on the move to the Black Gate.
Except you.
Except for me.
Yeah, you'd think
I've been
everyone
let
else,
go.
like all the honorable people have gone. Like, we're still, like, I know we're getting on in age, but
I
like, we're
know.
not old enough. We should have gone. But here we are. We're standing in Denethor's, in his bloody chambers.
Some people have seen too few winters. Some have seen too many. I think
Yes.
we are of the latter category. We cannot be allowed to fight in the army. We have to fight in our own way. I think honestly, it's more reasonable to distract Sauron by showing him sweaty balls than it is to have us fight in the army. I think we can make more of a difference that way.
We all play with the tools that the gods have given to
True.
us, which
Good
is
Troy quote.
also yes, I was going to say, like, it's the actor cinematically links the world. So we grab. Are we there because we don't know what it is? No, we do, because we're on an honorable path.
Yeah.
Or are we only there to steal
Also,
his marbles, and then we just find
it is an
balls
ancient relic, so I think
people have heard about it?
we could have had read up on that.
We probably heard some songs about it.
Yeah, and they're called seeing stones. Like, how hard can it be to find them?
Okay, so we go up there, we find the seeing stone, we pilfer it, and now we have to get to. Oh, hang on, isn't Elrond? Isn't he coming there anyway? He's definitely coming for the wedding.
Is he?
And well, not the wedding, the coronation. I mean.
So you think we can just hand it to him then?
Well, maybe not. I mean, that's when we make first contact. We're like, like the whole coronation's going on, and like we work our way forward like butlers, and then we're like, psst, Elrond.
So I think a good way to get it out of there is to construct sort of like a prototype football, like a massive pig's bladder, and then wrap that around the Palantir and kick it around, also giving Sauron something to see. I think that alone will make him quite nauseous.
Are you suggesting that we're creating like Middle Earth football?
Yes.
And like the Middle Earth Cup starts,
okay.
And
answer me this: what do people in Minas Tirith do for entertainment? And don't say defend the city. I think that's the correct answer here, but
you mean that's their day job? But like, what do they do to unwind?
Yeah. So again, I think we're doing them a huge favor by inventing
They're
Middle Earth
definitely
football.
not gardeners, are they?
No. I mean, they have one tree.
Yeah, I know, and it's a shitty tree. I mean, all Aragon does is come and give the thing some water.
Yeah. Like, it's a miracle. The king has returned.
Well, I mean, but I think that's a good time to. We're doing the football thing, right? We're wrapping in the football, and that's when we approach Elrond there, and we're like, we'll bring you the Palantir. All you have to do is host the Middle Earth World Cup.
Yes, the Middle World Cup.
The Middle World Cup in the Shire.
It seems flat enough, flat and green.
It seems like a good place to do it.
But then again, the next World Cup will be hosted in
Qatar.
In Qatar, so that the Middle Earth equivalent would be the Eastling nation.
Oh yeah.
So anything goes.
Well, maybe that's what we say to him. We're like, you have to host the World Cup. And he's like, I know the perfect place. We'll do it in the Shire, the home of football. It's going to be wonderful. And then we're like, no, actually.
The Eastlings have offered us quite an amount of mithril.
Yes.
To have the Middle World Cup.
Incredible, actually.
Yeah.
But that's just a coincidence, actually. So then we meet up. Who's winning? Who's winning a Middle Earth Cup?
That would be good. I mean, honestly, I think it's not a question of who's best. It's a question of who's least shit.
The hobbits are the worst.
Yeah.
Right.
So my first instinct would be to say the elves would be best. But I think it's just like 11 Neymars on the pitch.
I think you can't... it'll be beautiful. It'll be beautiful football, but it's just not a little bit directionless. No aim, no drive and thrust.
True.
I think the Rohundredon would be a good.
The Rohirrim.
Yeah, the Rohirrim. There we go. That'd be a good shot. Good teamwork.
Well organized. Yeah.
Well organized. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I feel like
so it's either them or the Gondorians.
Yes, but are the orcs coming?
Ooh, the orcs actually might stand a chance. Like, can get 11 Uruk-Hai on their single-minded approach to the opposing team's goal.
It would be worth watching. I'd watch that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's when the exchange takes place. Like Elrond's like he's like also like, okay, guys, we can't actually depart Middle Earth yet. We still have one more very important thing to do.
And also, I think like adding this one more ending to the Return of the King
That's
doesn't
true. No
really
one will.
matter. There's so many
No, yeah,
endings. Yeah,
exactly.
people will just
Like,
go like, "Oh, just another one." I think we can even be cheeky about that, and during the coronation, have Aragorn sign the ball.
absolutely. And then whose balls are we sticking it under for
Gimli.
the rest of eternity?
Gimli.
Is it Gimli's ball?
Yeah, I think Gimli would have the sweatiest balls in all of Middle Earth.
I think you might be right, unless to thematically link it to our other heist, we give it to one of the Sackville Bagginses.
True. Sweaty and hairy.
Sweaty and little.
Yeah. Oh. Yes. Yeah, I think and they would also keep it there. If they if you just want to sort of feel the sheer value in your crotch.
You have to keep it there. It's like when like when there's like a window and like you squeeze your face against it and that's that, but with balls, hobbit balls, and that's all that Sauron sees for the rest of eternity.
And also because the Palantir is sort of a magic item, it stays nice and cool to the touch.
Oh, it's actually pleasant for for this. That's why
I mean, not for Sauron, but
not for Sauron. No. I mean, if he does ever come back, he's going to come back in a big way. Like he will take his vengeance in that world and in ours.
It's like he'll have the visual memory of someone who's been sorting through all the images on Grindr for centuries.
You mean like a content moderator at Grindr that has to look for inappropriate content?
That would be hilarious. Let's post that job on monster.com.
Yeah, I think so. Oh man. So have we solved both of these crimes?
I would say so, yeah.
They're wonderful. We're making a lot of money. I mean, we're making more money in Middle Earth. I mean,
we can't resell the mithril.
We'll just have it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be nice, but forge a bicycle helmet out of it.
Mithril cups. Mithril plates.
Yep.
Mithril braces. I'm getting mithril braces. Yep. Nothing can break on those things. I might get a mithril smartphone.
I'll get my Ajnazg finger rings.
Hate and love?
Yeah, but it's going to be Ajnazg.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's pretty cool. I can work with that.
But yeah, other than that, I would say this heist is solved, and we're done. Thank you for bearing with us.
For coming on this journey with us all the way to Middle Earth, all the way into
there and back again.
There and back again. A gentleman's criminal story.
How long has it been since you last read Lord of the Rings?
It's been a little while. I read through it a couple of years ago, but I went back and did like a highlights tour of bits that I know that I like. Because I actually find it a bit difficult in the way that it's written.
Yeah.
Where like, you slog through a whole half of the Lord of the Rings and you're like, okay, great, they've gotten this far. And then it's like, right, now we're jumping for the second half of the book. Mm-hmm. We're just going to be following Frodo and Sam. And they like, I mean, and that's a bit, it drags on a bit in that part. Like it's very long and nothing happens.
I would even argue that there's quite a few chapters in there which feel very first draft.
That could be.
I mean, again, like back in the 40s and 50s, it's kind of hard to sort of go back to something and edit something because it all would have to be typed by hand.
Well, I mean, but remember how groundbreaking it was. Someone would have had to have read that first and been like, okay, I've read it all, all of it, multiple times, and I don't like it. But I there's a couple of small suggestions I want, and then he dies.
Yeah.
And then the next editor's gonna have to go,
Like a lot of Tolkien characters, they are just sort of brought up to get people from A to B, and then miraculously they're found among the corpses the next day after the battle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, it's for me. It's also been a while. I think the last thing I read was the Silmarillion.
I might do an audio book actually, and re-listen to that. That might be quite nice. I don't know if anyone with a nice voice reads it that I know. So if anyone who listens to
There
the
must be
podcast,
one read by Christopher Lee.
yes, okay, yeah, that could be.
There would have to be. I mean, when he was alive, he read the entire trilogy once a year.
Okay, he's a huge fan.
Was.
So he was a huge fan. So yes, if anyone has any recommendations, definitely keen. If anyone is a bigger Lord of the Rings fan than we are, and we've been off canon, I apologize humbly.
Yeah, I absolutely do. I'm sorry. We have been spitballing this a lot. We never read up too much on the subject, so I think for both of us, just mostly going by memory.
Yes.
From decades past.
I love the way we feel the need to apologize for Lord of the Rings. I mean, we do this on every episode, right? We definitely we just talk about stuff that we have the faintest knowledge about, but we go all out on that, right? We just make huge assumptions. And with none of those, we're completely unapologetic. But for some reason with Lord of the Rings, we feel the need to do a disclaimer at the end.
It feels a bit closer to home.
It does, yeah. So I'm definitely sorry for everything, but I will argue for my my calculation of the euro to the mithril weight and the value. I
mean, you can also always, if there's anything, let us know down in the comments below, or send us a personal message at How Do I Rob This. We are at How Do I Rob This on all socials. That's Facebook, that's Instagram, that's Twitter, that's at How Do I Rob This on TikTok, where we have one video and we'll never make more. You are.
I am at the Oscar Brown.
I am at SM Weisper, and yeah, that's been How Do I Rob This. Leave us a review. Be nice on social media, and I think that's the send off, right?
And keep your distance and stay healthy.
No, wait, one more ending.